This week, in a very special edition of the Business Travel Interview, we're lucky enough to be joined by the Chief Executive of the Business Travel Association, Clive Wratten, and the Chief Executive of the Focused Travel Partnership, Abby Penston. They're both here to talk to us about the changes that the government is announcing in the UK in terms of quarantine being ended for certain countries and the introduction of travel corridors. So we asked them, first of all, what their reaction was to the announcements that the government is making this week.
Well, we're generally pleased with the decision they've come up with to move away from quarantine in some format to this travel corridors and the traffic light system. We think it's a much more sensible and manageable way, and safe, frankly, way for the industry to get moving again and for travellers to start travelling, whether on leisure, but most importantly for us, clearly on business. And it allows that flexibility. It allows some sort of stability that we really need for customers to see what they need to do to travel and where they can travel to. And that in itself will start building confidence for all of us to get out there and start traveling again. So, yeah, generally delighted. The slight frustration, because nothing is perfect in this world, is that here we are on Monday the 29th and we're still awaiting the kind of full details of which countries they are. And every day that goes by, £600 million to UK GDP in a normal year will be disappearing. So the sooner we get the messages about where they're travelling to, and then of course there will be a slight delay for airlines and various other authorities to get up to speed. So there's still going to be a lag from the date of announcement moving. So yeah, that's the frustration, is just it moves on a little longer than we'd hoped. But generally very pleased that this decision has been made.
Well, I have a mixed reaction to it, to be honest with you. The part of me goes, you know, it's a great idea and it's a way of moving things forward. I think it's very focused to leisure. I think so, you know, if you're wanting to book a holiday, you know, things are looking appealing, and I get the retail side of things were very busy this weekend after the announcement. I think as from a business travel point of view, I think there's still a lot of work to be done on it. But I welcome it, and I think it's a start, and I think it's a positive move. I'd just like to see the memento now keep going in and for it to really push forward responsibly.
We also asked what the introduction of travel corridors would mean to members of their organisations, plus what it means to business travellers as they start to get back to travelling on business.
I think it's, you know, it's a starting point. I think it gives them the opportunity now to be able to start being positive in promoting their businesses and their organisations, and to be able to begin to install confidence levels back into the corporate traveller. I think that's a major thing here. I think we can open up these corridors, but if we can't confidently promote them, then that's a separate issue. So I think there's a lot of work to be done from a TMC point of view, from a partnership point of view, to make sure that we're promoting responsible travel. I think this is a starting point. And if managed correctly, I think it's a positive move. And I think it's something that we need to keep our eye on a regular basis. I don't think we can afford to take our eye off of it. I think it will continuously evolve. But again, I think managed correctly with the correct TMC, the correct responsible travel management company, I think it's incredibly positive and hopefully a good way forward.
Well, straight away it means we can start working out where people can travel to, you know, start planning for business trips and getting the economy back moving again. And for our members, you know, it gives some degree of certainty to talk to your customer around what travelling in the future will look like and where they can go to. So, you know, it does open up a number of things, but equally it allows inbound business travellers coming in here for your customers, you know, dealing with overseas companies who want to come in. So both sides of that give that degree of optimism, I guess, which is one of the most important things right now, that we can start getting back to doing business in a way that we should be doing to get the economy moving again.
The Business Travel Association and the Focused Travel Partnership have worked together with each other and with other stakeholders to bring together the business travel industry in order to lobby the government to make these changes. So we asked Clive and Abby to reflect on how well their organisations have worked singularly and together to bring about these changes.
I think the industry has done really well for once to actually come together. We'd often been kind of criticised as an industry of all going our separate ways and not pulling together. I don't think that's been true in this case. We've worked with associations and other partners right across the spectrum, from leisure, inbound, meetings and events industry, hospitality industry, and all to come together to get the point across to the government that the importance of this industry has, whichever sector you're in, and that it needs listening to. So I think the industry has done well. The sense of community has been good and it's been strong, and we need to maintain that moving forward. But clearly this industry needs to stick together right through this and beyond to make sure we don't lose momentum. So it's been a good learning curve, but I've been pleased. It took a while to get us up and running, but we got there in the end, and now the industry is working very well together.
Well, I think it's come together very well. I mean, we're a partner of the BTA, and we've supported the BTA in the lobbying that they've done. We represent 60 TMCs, and so we have a big voice, and I think we've been able to really help the BTA drive their lobbying forward and support their objectives on making sure that government fully understand what business travel is about and how they can best serve the organisation and the industry that we work within.
Finally, we asked Clive if he has any other messages for government in terms of travel corridors, the introduction of the traffic light system, and the ending overall of the quarantine system.
Well, besides, please let's move on and make it right. We absolutely believe that we need to make sure our citizens are safe. So we understand that quarantine may have to remain for countries like Brazil and the US right now. We've got a higher R number. We kind of appreciate it's difficult for the government, but where it isn't, press ahead. Please don't give a myriad of exemptions or difficulties around it. Keep it simple and straightforward, and keep it rolling out. And the last thing to the government, which we've always been saying, is please engage with us and talk to us through this process rather than making any unilateral decisions, and then we can get it right as we have now.
Thank you to Clive and to Abby for joining us on this week's special edition of the Business Travel Interview. You can find out more information about both the BTA and Focus Travel Partnership from the comments below. Thank you for watching. Please give us your comments and let us know who else you'd like to see interviewed in the Business Travel Interview.